Good evening. Are we on live already?
Yes. Good
Okay.
evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 3, the key to diversification. So today we are talking about Philippines. My name is Mandy Chen, head of IQI International Sales. I'm in the international sales for more than 7 years, and I'm an investor as well. So to tell you a little bit of this program is basically to assist those who have interest to explore in international market, but they do not know how, okay? And in this program, we will provide the fundamental investments criteria and requirements, the rules and regulations of that particular country, so that at the end of the day, you have insights of the global real estate markets, as well as the confidence level when it comes to investing abroad. In fact, at the end of the program, you probably will discover that some of the countries which give you a very friendly investments policies, and you would probably didn't discover that as well. So it's not that difficult to actually invest abroad, and therefore in this program we actually invited a lot of speakers, the panel speakers from various countries. They are the professional real estate specialists from different countries, and some of them they are investors as well. So without further delay, let me introduce Drew from Philippines. Drew, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening, Mandy. It's nice to be with you again.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. I am Emmanuel Andrew Venturina, but you can call me Drew to make it short. I am the managing director of IQI Global. Basically, I've been in the business of real estate since 2009. It's my 11th year. Okay, 11th year for this year. I started as a leasing associate for Rockwell Land, and then after a few years, I decided to join a brokerage firm. That's where I got some knowledge about brokerage. And then in 2015, I finally decided to take the examination for brokers. Luckily, I passed. And then after that, I tried doing real estate as a freelance broker for 2 years until I decided to put up a company, to put up a system. And then until I met IQI Global, which I'm very thankful and very lucky to be part of the global international team. And if not because of that, of the company, definitely I won't be here talking to you guys. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks
Okay.
for the brief introductions. Okay, I guess a lot of people have. Anyone here been to Philippines? If you have been to Philippines, can you just press 1 so that at least I know that those people have been to Philippines? Yeah.
It's a very beautiful country, actually.
Yeah, I love that. Okay,
Okay.
so can you probably give us a brief introductions of Philippines?
Okay, so Philippines is actually a archipelago, no, composed of 7,107 islands. Depends if it's low tide or high tide. Some it could be lower, it could be more. Basically, it's we call it Pearl of the Orient because we have a lot of beach, we have a lot of resorts. There's so much natural resources in the country, and other than that, we're also blessed with a lot of promising CBDs or central business districts. The transformation of the country, Philippines, in the last few decades, from being an average economy to becoming one of the fastest growing economy in the world, is actually remarkable. And we're very thankful that we were part of real estate in those particular years. Um, I think regardless of whoever sits in the position, since I think 1993 until present, we have noted a tremendous growth in gross domestic product. So we have undergone a lot of changes or trials also, but then it remained as is. You know, it's very it has a natural and consistent flow or growth. Okay, so I think for this year we were able to reach 5.9% GDP. Our
That's
target
pretty,
for
that's
our
pretty
target
high,
for
yeah.
it's a good one actually. So our
Yes,
target for
yes.
last year is supposed to be 6.5, but then 5.9 is not really bad.
Yep. Okay,
Okay,
that's
and
great.
then yeah, the thing is that in the property segment, the good thing about the properties in the Philippines is that the property appreciation is definitely high. As
Mm-hmm.
what we mentioned during the presentation before, 2019 alone, we noted a 29.1% growth in the
Wow.
property value. That's
Okay.
huge amount of
Yes, huge
property
amount.
appreciation. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, of course, after buying the property, other than the property appreciation, what could happen is that you can lease it out.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is that the rental yield in the country is 6.12, 6.14. That is
Mm-hmm.
for throughout the country. But then
Mm-hmm.
if you go to the CBDs like Makati, Bonifacio Global City, you can actually note around 7% to 8%, depending on the
Wow.
location as well.
So actually, the
So,
rental market is more for the locals or for the expat, in fact.
well, the good thing is that it's been famous for expats also. So we have a lot of clients based abroad, and we're handling the property management of their units, and we're also handling the lease management for them. And like what I said, owning properties in the Philippines for foreigners is also easy. In the past 10 years, we have noted growth in foreign investors buying properties.
Mm-hmm.
Majority are from China, USA, Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong also. Malaysia, we have also quite a few
Okay.
investors here. Yes. Um, Other than that, there's a huge demand for rental and also for property investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that is because of the location of the Philippines, and a lot of investors are actually considering putting up their businesses here,
Mm-hmm.
because we are actually graded above investment by Moody's, Fitch, and all the other investment companies that are checking if what's the status of your economy.
Okay. So in fact, that is actually, if for a investor wants to invest in Philippines, it's actually very easy, right? What is the regulations for foreigners to invest in Philippines?
Yeah, the thing is that you can't purchase a land in the Philippines if you're a foreigner, but then you can actually own a condominium.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So basically, we have the same 40% and 60%. So 40% must be foreign investors or owners, and then 60% must be Filipinos, or it could
All
be
right.
higher than that, of course. Yeah. But of course, the limit is 40%.
All right. So what is the key driver of the Philippines real estate market besides the Pago, is it? Yeah, talking about.
Pogo, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Pogo is my most is the most interesting topic that I would like to discuss, but I will put that on the latter part of our discussion. So, what are the major drivers of real estate? Basically, we have the BPO, the business process outsourcing, and then the KPO, or the knowledge process outsourcing. And then they came in back in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
and they were part of the big lift. They were able to help the economy actually for a better or improved economy, because they were able to bring in a lot of jobs here in the Philippines. And BPOs and KPOs decided to start their business here because the labor cost here is cheap or
Mm-hmm.
affordable. Same thing with the rental of offices.
Mm-hmm.
And the government is offering a lot of incentives for them, like non-VAT for the businesses. So there's a lot of tax benefits that this outsourcing companies are benefiting or getting from the government. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they are here. 40% of the office spaces in Metro Manila or even outside Metro Manila are being occupied by the BPO or outsourcing companies.
Wow. Okay. So it's actually a huge
Uh,
demand when it comes to properties, rental market as well, right?
Rental market, yes. A lot
Yes.
of expats from those companies are actually getting properties from the CBD areas, and then also for some of the employees, managerial position, they're also allocating housing packages for them. Okay, so that's for the BPO and KPO. Another demand drivers that we have to highlight is the locals.
Mm-hmm.
We have a high net worth individuals also, those who are really serial investors, and they've been really buying properties continuously because they really know they really see the value of appreciation, of property appreciation. So for those, for example, who purchased properties back in 2005 or
Mm-hmm.
2008 at a price of 4 million pesos, now their properties are being sold at 8 million pesos, 9 million pesos. So they really see the value. So that's why a lot of demand are coming from the locals. And then one thing to highlight also is the OFWs, or the overseas Filipino workers. They are our modern day heroes, because They're trying to uplift the lives of the families here in the Philippines. And one of the major contributors of the GDP is what do you call this? The remittances from them.
Mm-hmm.
So we are actually third of the biggest remittances in the world. So that's how, because we have like 2.3 million, I think, Filipinos dispersed all over the world. So we're all over the place, all over the world. You can see us everywhere.
Okay.
Um, and then another thing, one thing that has shaken the industry is the POGO, or the Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations. It started back in 2016, and after that, the real estate market has changed. So the
Mm-mm.
demand, the prices of the rental actually escalated to the point that the yields or rental yields of the investors or the owners are reached up to 9% for Bay Area, for Makati City, where the operations of Pogo or offshore gaming are located. And then with that industry, they're getting buildings after buildings of offices. And we're glad that partly we were able to capture that small market. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that I think about 5 years ago, I tried to market one of the Philippine project in the Bay Area. At that
Yeah.
time, we probably, I will still remember if we market it like one bed is about 3 million peso. But I don't think right now you can get 3 million peso in the areas.
Oh yeah. In Bay Area right now, the
Yeah.
cheapest that they have is 7 million, I think.
Yes, yes.
Up to 10 million. So see how it appreciated very fast also.
Yep. Okay, and
Okay.
what about the governments towards the current situations? How's the situation right now in Philippines actually because of this
Um,
pandemic of COVID-19?
actually it changed everything so far. I remember back in January we were still excited about our plans, about our plans for 2020, and then March 14 happened, and then everything stopped, and then everything changed. At this point, there's no movement at all. Move-ins are not really allowed. Viewings are restricted also. So basically, everyone is in their own homes and working from home. Um, there are some actions online. There are a lot of inquiries online. A lot of people are inquiring about properties below market value, about properties which offer a lot of promotions at this point. But then that ends there, especially for the secondary market. But then for the pre-selling projects, surprisingly, we were in touch with SMDC yesterday also, and Federal Land. Apparently, there are still a lot of buyers buying properties
Oh,
during
okay.
lockdown, and we were really surprised. And then that's when we realized that everything now is online. So it's a matter of us really grabbing that opportunity and being more visible online to be able to capture that market. Um, that is the current situation right now here, and we see that this might stop probably by end of July,
Mm-hmm.
but that is still with restricted movement. For sure, people will still practice social distancing, and maybe there will be limited activities also. Maybe before you can get to the unit or show the property, you must have your clearance from health department showing that you're negative and you cannot really infect anyone.
Okay, so for those who just log in, remember to comment reports because there will be a free gift given away by Drew, okay? And that will be
Oh
a
yeah.
report, yeah. So for those who wish to receive this report, so can you just comment report, then we will get my team to actually contact you privately to send the reports to you, okay? So again,
Right.
welcome to our episode 3, the key to diversifications. Today we are talking about Philippines. All right. So, but then again, it's actually the best time to buy right now, right? I heard that there's
Yes.
lots of good bargains that actually coming out from the developers. Yeah,
Yeah,
can
there's a lot of promotions at this point. Remember, I think we were having a conversation 2 weeks ago. Remember
yep,
regarding rent to own properties, right? With
yes,
Grace Residences.
yes,
At that particular time, we have like around 80 units
yep.
available. Yeah, and then
Yeah, you told me left 12. Oh my God, that's fast.
yesterday we only have like around 12 units available.
Yes.
So see, so how fast? There's really a huge demand from a lot of investors. Those foreign investors, local investors. So that's why, with all the fear that there might be some softening of the market or lower demand, I think there's still a continuous demand because unlike any other crisis like 1997, 2008, this is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Though it might appear as very intricate because it's a health and financial
Yep.
crisis, but at the same time, we are in a better situation right now. I think we were able to prepare ourselves by growing the economy, by preparing, by having more liquidity in the market in the past years. That's why we are in a better place right now compared to the previous crisis. Okay, like what I said, there's a lot of rent-owned projects right now with the developers, and they're also offering a lot of bonuses. Like
Mm-hmm.
for example, one developer, I will not mention it, they have doubled their commission from 5%. It's now 10%. Plus, they're also offering additional 3% if the sale will happen during the lockdown period. See, so that's a very huge amount of commission that every agent's become very excited after hearing that.
So I also want to join to be a real estate agent in Philippines already.
No, you can sell. We can sell those projects, and then of course there's a certain commission matrix for that for our offices, right? So we are
Okay.
very much encouraging everyone to sell those projects also, and I think we will have a separate session for that.
Okay,
Yes.
so I think customers right now, for those who lock in and they understand that there's a huge commissions given away, probably they will ask for discount from the agents then. Okay,
Yeah.
joke aside, okay. So you are saying that right now is actually the best opportunity to buy in Philippines because you can see that the market potential is still very high. People are still actively buying properties, and even though with this climate that people stay at home, but still you can see that some of the developer, especially you are talking about SMDC, one of the biggest developer, the transaction is still moving every day. Okay,
That's
it's just
correct.
like
Yeah,
within a week we can see that a lot of units has been snapped up just like that.
that's correct. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
how everything is being sold in Malaysia, right? So I think everywhere else, the smart investors, as what we say, are all out there looking for the right opportunities
Yeah,
because
when you say
they're
that crisis equals to opportunity, so this is the best time.
yes,
Yeah, and
right.
I understand that a lot of Chinese investors actually come in to buy floor after floor, isn't it? Is that
That's
true?
correct. Yes, 2019, we have noted that SMDC Ayala, sorry, SMDC 50% of their sale in 2019 is from the Chinese market.
Mm.
Ayala Group, 40% of their sale is from Chinese market. And then Mega World, also one of the biggest developer, around 29% to 30% of their sales came from the Chinese market. So
Mm.
basically, Chinese market has a huge coverage or market footprint in the Philippines. And considering that they're bouncing back already, they're starting to recover. We're really expecting that once movement is allowed, or even during the lockdown, we can see a lot of increase from the Chinese market. So we're
Okay.
very much hopeful regarding that.
Okay, so in other words, it's like, is there the populations in Philippines for Chinese, is it increasing or they are just coming in as an investors?
No, actually, there's a lot of Chinese residents right now in the Philippines
Oh,
because
really?
of the offshore gaming. Our record shows that we have around 420,000 Chinese
Oh,
employees here in the
okay,
Philippines.
okay.
That only belongs to the pogo industry or the offshore gaming, not not including the other industries or the other businesses that are here already.
Oh, all right, all right.
And what the trend is that if I work with the offshore gaming, if I have extra money, because they're being paid quite a lot also,
Mm-hmm,
they're starting to invest. They're very good in investing. They know how to make use of their money very well.
mm-hmm,
So, and then there are also some who are high net worth individuals, Chinese investors, who prefer to get the high end properties
mm-hmm.
in the area, in the CBD areas.
Okay, so where is the hotspot in Manila right now? So if a
Yeah.
investor would like to invest in, let's say, Philippines, definitely we'll talk about Manila. So where is the hotspot that you could recommend?
Yeah, at this point, given the situation also, I would say that we are quite highly dependent on the Chinese market and the BPO industry. Okay, so in that sense, I would highly recommend to invest in Bay Area. That's
Mhm,
where the major Pogo operations are. Makati City, definitely, because second to Bay Area, we have Makati as the central hub of Pogo operations. Then, of course, next to that would be Bonifacio Global City or BGC,
mhm,
because there are a lot of BPO companies also here.
mhm.
And I think with because with all of this central business districts, there are a lot of projects also nearby on the side skirt that are being launched right now, and the prices are not as much as those located in the central business districts, but
Mhm.
then the proximity is very close actually.
Okay. So in fact, normally investor will come in to buy like one bedder studio or two bedder.
Most of the time they invest on the smaller cuts. They invest on studio and one bedroom units, having the idea that it will be easy for them to manage, unlike investing on two bedroom units. But then one thing that they kind of missed, but this is one thing that we keep on telling our investors, is that most of the clientele, especially the expatriates who are based in the Philippines, they prefer to get a two bedroom because they bring in their family at least, or their husband or a small family. So that's the best what you call the property type to invest in. But then if you're a starting investor or new to this one, then we suggest to invest in a studio or a one bedroom.
I understand that even one bedroom or studio, they can have this like core sharing basis, right? Whereby they can actually fit in easily like 3 to 4 people, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So with the increased number of Pogo clients or Pogo employees, one bedroom units are being converted into a sharing, co-living, because there will be like two or three in one unit, in one studio unit, or up to four packs or four employees per in a one bedroom unit.
Okay.
So that's becoming the new trend right now. After this, after the COVID-19, we still see that there will still be a lot of clients from the Pogo industry. It's just we're waiting for the travel ban to be lifted.
Mm-hmm. So right now it's like everybody can go out to the countries and nobody can come in as well, right?
No one can go into the Philippines at this point. That's why we're restricted.
Okay. So when is government doing any attentive measurement towards this sort of situations in order to help the communities or the residents in Philippines to overcome this?
Yeah, I think the government is really doing so well when it comes to controlling the situation right now. We are in complete lockdown, but then we can still go to the groceries, pharmacies to get the essential needs. But then we're actually flattening the curve based on the articles and data that we're gathering. We're doing good a little bit compared to the other countries, and I think this will be extended. Like what we said, it might end until June or July,
Mm-hmm.
until we get all the results of the tests. And then that's the only time that there will be minimal movement within the city, at least. And then maybe August or September, there will be an intercity movement wherein if I live in another city, I can go to another city as long as I have all the requirements provided by the government.
Mm-hmm. So what is the last advice for a foreigner if they would like to explore into Philippine markets?
Yeah, I really believe that Philippines is still one of the best options in in Southeast Asia when it comes to investment. Simply because of the property appreciation, simply because we are a growing economy and we still see a continuous growth, consistent pace. We are expecting that by 2021 at least we will be able to reach 7.5 GDP.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very much excited with that. And other than that, we have a lot of infrastructures lined up for the country, and that will really boost also the real estate industry. That will also catalyze the appreciation of our properties.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Regardless of the situation right now, I don't think that the developing countries will be highly affected by this particular pandemic. Not unlike the developed ones who are really suffering at this point. I think we have more potential for growth. That is a good thing why that we are part of the ASEAN countries. Majority of the ASEAN countries are the ones who are really resilient at this point, and we are very positive because if those smart investors know how and when to invest in the Philippines, then that means that there's so much opportunities right here. I guess the challenge only for us brokers or realtors in the country is to educate the remaining 80%, 70% who are not so knowledgeable about the market, about the industry. But I think providing them the right knowledge, the right information, they will realize that there's nothing to worry about, and there's so much potential. The only question is that when will the movement start? But then when the movement starts, once the market is already back moving, definitely will bounce back soon enough. Maybe by last quarter of this year, we'll be able to recover a bit. But then during the first part of 2021, definitely there will be tremendous growth. So before the market bounce back and the properties appreciate again, I think this is a perfect time to invest,
Buy low
right?
and hit high, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the idea. It should be basic according to Anthony. It should be
Yes.
simple.
Okay, for those that who just log in, remember we will have a free gift to give away. So if you like the reports from us, we'll talk about the general markets of Philippines. So can you just comment report? We will get our team to actually send the reports to you. So please comment reports. So open to the floor. Anyone have any questions for Drew? Okay, we'll be here to answer you. And at the same
Okay.
time, remember to log in every day 8 p.m. So tomorrow, same time, Malaysia, 8 p.m. We have another sessions, the episode 4. Tomorrow, we'll talk about Canada markets. So remember, 8 p.m. every day, GMT +8 to log in to continue watching our episode. Okay, I see a lot of people actually
You have
comment reports.
questions?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm still
go
waiting
ahead.
for questions. Perhaps it's
Okay,
very detailed, so they are very clear about investing in Philippines.
okay. So we
Okay,
will have more. We will have more presentation, right? Then
yeah, we will have more of this sharing. So if the response is good, so we will actually do more of this kind of sharings and educating the public how to invest wisely. Of course, we will also recommend some of the good projects, some of the good deals that during this period of
that's
time.
correct.
If any one of you interested to look into it, please log into our IQI Global website, www.iqiglobal.com. In the Philippines, we will actually feature quite a number of projects over there. So if you were interested to know any one of the projects, you can always contact us. All right. So meanwhile, I'm still waiting for any question from the floor. Do you have anything
Yeah.
to add on?
Um. Anything that I have to add on? I think it's also notable. It's very good also to note that there will be a new norm, no? Because I think with our investors in the Philippines, our landlords, they've been asking us, Drew, what's going to happen in the market? Will there be a lot of tenants looking for properties? How can we do the viewing? How can we do the move-in, etc. So I think moving forward, what's going to happen is that because of the social distancing, basically, the mask and then gloves will be the new fashion of our agents. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. And then definitely, what we're going to do is that we'll be more highly on videos, Facebook Live for the viewings for the property tour, and then of course we'll be capitalizing more on the 3D and then virtual reality for the properties that we are offering.
Okay. So any question from the floor? I'm still waiting. Okay,
Okay.
so other than that, beside the situations right now, we are still closing deals, okay, through online, and people still have lots of confidence in Philippine markets. And like Drew
Oh,
was saying, that the rental yield is actually very attractive. I would say about
7%.
7% easily. All right. So for those that is looking for high rental yield, perhaps Philippines is one of the market that you should explore. I don't think in Malaysian market we can't get as high as 7%. Okay, the
We
other
have
things that come across my mind is that is
yes.
Airbnb very popular in Philippines?
Yes, yeah, it became very popular recently to the point that Mega World, SMDC are really encouraging that. That's part of their marketing that you can do Airbnb business in these buildings. and that gives you higher yield also. So
Mm-hmm.
that ranges from 11 to 14% yield or rental yield if you do Airbnb business.
Oh, really? It's almost double of the normal
It's
leasing.
it's almost higher. Yes, yes.
Wow. Okay. So that shows how attractive the Philippine market is. Then on top of that, will there be in terms of the management fee, is this much higher for the Airbnb?
Basically, it's the same. Management, it depends because most of the time, what happens is that there's smaller companies who really do the Airbnb,
Mm-hmm.
and they do a percentage sharing with the owners.
Okay.
And then some owners are also open to do just give me a fixed rental rate, and then
Mm-hmm.
whatever balance, whatever is extra, that's yours. So those are the usual arrangement that they do.
So in fact, Airbnb in Philippines is officially approved kind of business, or is still a lot of
It's
gray area?
It's actually approved. I'm not so sure with the other countries, but then there's no taxation with Airbnb business.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not so sure if it is the same with Malaysia or with the other countries, but there's no taxation for those units that are being leased out in Airbnb.
Okay, so let's say for example today I'm an investor. Okay, I'm after listening to you, I'm like so keen to explore Philippine market, and I want to diversify my investment portfolio to Philippines. So, what is the minimums entries that level that we are talking about? The price entry levels to Philippines.
Yeah,
What
the
is,
good thing is that at this point, with all the promotions, we have around 2.8 million to 4 million. That
that's all right.
is pesos, yes. That is located on the side skirt of the central business districts, which is actually okay. If you want to invest something in the middle or within the CBDs, then property price would be the minimum would be 7 million pesos.
So it's almost like double of the pricings, right?
That's correct,
What
yes.
about the rental? Will there be effect much if I were to invest in the CBD compared to the outskirts of city?
Of course, yeah, yeah. The rental is pretty much higher on the CBD areas. So for the CBD, it's normally around 1,000 to 1,200 per square meters, and then on the side skirt of CBDs, that will be around 800 to 900 pesos per square meters.
Okay.
You have some
Yeah, there's a questions coming in that can we sell to Philippines? I think there's no restriction when come to buying and selling, right?
yes, yeah,
So
it's okay.
if I'm a foreigner, I buy a property days, I can sell to both. Eventually, when I will exit, I can sell to a Filipino, or I can sell back to my uh, Malaysians or foreigners, right?
Yeah, actually, for example, if you're Malaysian, you purchase a property here, and then you wish to sell it again, if you sell it a Filipino, that's okay, because again, it's more on the limitation with the foreign ownership, only
Mm-hmm.
40%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you sell it to Filipino, it's okay. If you sell it to another foreigner, then that will be okay too.
Okay. So, is there any financing options available in Philippines?
Unfortunately, if you are not based in the Philippines, if you're not working here, or if you're not married to a Filipino or Filipina, or if you don't have a business here, then you're not entitled for a bank loan. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you can only avail the in-house loans provided by the developers.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if you've been here for 2 years, you have a business here, then definitely you can avail the loans, which has lower interest rate also.
Okay. So, in other words, can a foreigner just go into the Philippines and work as a real estate agent, or they need to go through exams or?
Um, Actually, for that one, there's a law with PRC wherein a licensed broker or an agency can actually allow a foreigner to work under the agency. The thing is that they have to undergo salesperson accreditation. So in that sense, they will be legit. They will be accredited as salesperson under PRC, and they will have the sub license, as we call it.
Okay. So, in other words, it's like even though the entry cost of buying a property is it very high?
Um, Again, if you're going to purchase properties on those areas that are highly in demand,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it's going to be around 7 million to 9 million at this point.
Mm-hmm. So, what
But
about other expenses like other buying costs like tax and any stamp duties, any legal fees involved?
yeah, for the pre-selling properties, basically we have around 6.5 to 7% taxes for the transfer. That includes the transfer tax, etc., and all the other documentary stamp tax. So that's only minimal actually. Most of the time, when you buy properties or project selling in the Philippines, that's included already. Some developers haven't included it yet, so that will be on top of that. But that's around 6.5 to 7% only.
Okay, and I understand that in Philippines, right, if you were to buy those off the plan projects, you can actually sell it before the completions, right?
That's correct. Yeah, that's the trend that we see with the foreign investors. So what happens is that they invest or they pay only 30% or 20% for 2 years or 3 years. When the property appreciated already around 14% or 15%, then they sell it in the middle of the process and be able to get money or profit already from their investments.
Okay,
So
and
that's another trend that they can actually capitalize on.
So another thing that again is like if you were to buy properties in Philippines, most of the developers are giving a lot of options when it comes to payment scheme, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So we have 10% down payment spread out for a number of years. There are some actually that you can only you're paying 5%, 10%, 20%, and then lump sum at the end of the lease, at the end of the sale or upon turnover.
Okay, so in other words, the investor can actually spread over their cash flow instead of one lump sum.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Depending on their preference, depending on their financial capacity at this point, we can find the best solution for you. The beauty of being in a brokerage firm is that we provide you not just the property that we think is best for you, but whatever fits your financial capacity as well.
Yep. So with our IQI presence there, you will have definitely a local supports when it comes to property management or renting or for sales as well. There's I have no worry about that for sure.
Right.
Okay. So I think
we're good.
Yeah, we're all good. So any more questions from the floor? Remember, if you wish to get a report from us, okay, can you just comment report? So my team will be able to contact you personally to get your email address. So we'll send the report to you. The report is basically to talk about the Philippine real estate outlook, okay? So that will be a piece of information for you to understand a little bit more of the Philippine markets, okay? So any more questions from the floor? If not, we shall end here. Thanks a lot, Drew. Okay. Thanks for your time, for sharing your experience.
My pleasure, yeah.
Yeah. And remember to log in 8 p.m. tomorrow. We will continue with episode 4. So tomorrow we talk about Canada. All right. So for those who have still questions and if we couldn't answer you, you just comment in the comment box. Our team will be able to answer you accordingly. All right. So thank you very much, Drew. Have a nice day. Take care.
Have a great night. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.